Kitchen garden is the term I learned while participating in a permaculture design course, and it's meant to show the design as a garden right out the kitchen door. First of all, we're going to have a quick update on our pots. I transplanted the okra out of this one and put some new medium, and I transplanted a couple of tomatoes that were left in this planter, and those tomatoes are now in here. Those are black tomatoes. Peppers, potatoes, strawberries, nostranums, peppers, and this is a bush tomato. And here it is, June 9th. Soon I'm going to have some fresh tomatoes to eat. Here in Wisconsin, that's a big deal. There's an eggplant hiding in here. It's going to have to exist on its own. Tomatoes, peppers. I know I planted other seeds in here. This is a red row cover. I've been experimenting with peppers. Here's it was a real little sickly hazelnut, and now it's really leafing out nice. I'll transplant that probably late fall. We'll see. More peppers. This is some sort of a perennial. Might be a thistle, huh? It's a milk thistle. But I do eat on those leaves once in a while, just sparingly. And here's a little sweet potato drum. Plant some peas in it to see what happens. I'm looking for the plants to go on clearance at the local big box store, but they haven't. They have maybe half a dozen sweet potatoes left, and they look really rough. But if they go on clearance to 50%, I'll buy them. Those are the pots. Now we're going to update the rest of the kitchen garden. This is a tree here that was grafted to an apricot that was drafted to a bush cherry. Look at it's fruiting this year. That's not my work. Somebody who betrayed me and left the house. These are strawberries planted with garlic. Also have some peas in here. Planted them on a regular. There's a. Yeah, they're in here. They're coming up. Oh, here's a missing area. Some of them didn't come up, so I don't know why. Maybe my cat's got a fetish for eating peas. I'll plant some more. But otherwise, these are they fruit all summer long, and they're brand new plants. And here they're flowering already. So I think I'm going to pinch the first initial blossom off and grow some roots. And these are June bears. I'm letting the thistles grow up with them. Attract the pollinators in here, not a problem. I also planted garlic in here. This is a soft neck garlic. It's impressive in how it stores. Long-term storage is not a problem for this Polish red softneck garlic that I received in the mail years ago. This is a mixture of perennial June bears and everbears. And the everbear, I clipped all the blossoms off, so I'm assuming these are the everbears that reblossom, but these plants are really nice. I'm going to let them make me some strawberries. I was reading at, or actually it was a post on Facebook that you could pick the strawberries when they're just starting to turn ripe, put them on the windowsill and they'll ripen. It'll keep the birds from eating at them. So I planted, this was a really old packet of emert wheat, and I planted them in here. There were a whole lot of them planted, and the cats are in here and they're trampling them, but some of them are still coming up. Well, there's definitely more than a dozen. This is a bed that had the red row cover over it. And what I wanted to do is slow down the radishes. And these are more quicker radishes, but I'm slowing them down so they don't bolt. So that week of hot sunny weather last week, they didn't have to. Oh, and look it. They didn't have to endure the direct sunlight. And here we got one that's forming root. You know, the only thing I don't have is what would have happened if I didn't have a red row cover over these radishes. Oh, here's one that's bolting right here. But there's a root on it. Nope, not much of a root. So this one isn't going to form an edible root. It's bolting already. There's carrots in here. I think these are turnips right here on this side. Cossack kohlrabies. I've grown those 12.5 pounds heavy already. We're going to be doing slug mitigation here up near the kitchen. And we're going to grow some 12.5 pounders again this year. Now this was the row that I really experimented with on radishes with the red row cover, and all this was just loaded with greenery. I'll tell you one thing about those red row covers. The plants grow a lot of greens. Way on the end here is, I left some in. This is what the whole bed looked like. You know, stifling the growth of all the other plants here. Here I had to bolster up these mangles. And I also had planted some mango seeds in here that probably weren't going to live if I kept that up any longer. Here's some really nice ones that formed up. I planted some parsnips all over the place. That might be a parsnip right there. Then these are just regular, probably sprinkler radishes. I got plenty of radishes that I've been eating. And then I transplanted okra into here. Here's some little baby mangels. There's celery. These are regular kohlrabi, purple kohlrabi. As soon as they form a softball size kohlrabi, I pick them. There you can see the purple. And at the end of these 6 beds, I have the yacon that I grew in the house all winter long. They're really doing good. See that? How stiff they're. Even after growing 5 months indoors, they still have a stiff stalk. Here's my leafy green salad roll. And look again, right out the back door. 5 steps. And I'm picking a salad. I have 4 collard greens, 4 regular kale, 4 dinosaur kale, a couple of bok choy. And I also have interspersed in here some small cauliflowers. Different color cauliflowers. There's one there, there's one down here. And I'm like picking out the leaves that are going over the top of the smaller plants. So I'm pruning them and eating the prunings. Some red cabbages here in the background. Cilantro. Got cilantro growing all over the place so I can flavor my salads. Ooh, there's a weed in here. I've been weeding all these beds slowly, one here, one there, one. This last weekend I was weeding one. I thought, I was halfway through half of one, and I thought I'm gonna go in and get a sip of coffee. And I thought, no, I'm not gonna give up. This has got to get done. The faster I get it done, then the more coffee I can drink later. And all of a sudden, I was only going to do one bed, but all of a sudden, I had 2 beds completely weeded. Look at the luxurious leaves. And this just, look at this, here's my hand. Just huge leaves. They love this area here. And these are strawberries that left over from the previous occupants. I dug them out and put them here to see what they would do. Man, they look okay. A couple of pots. That one single pot has an eggplant in it. I might take a okra. I should have put an okra seed in there. Find out how it grows in the total shade. And then there's a pot I'm nursing. The little plants in the middle are Cossack kohlrabi, the big ones. And then I have some more okra growing. It's the first time I'm really doing anything with okra. Let's see what happens. Here's a mixed planting of lettuces and radishes and potato onions. This is a white salsify. It's about to blossom. More radishes. There's one right there that's ready to pick. This bed here was filled with radishes and I ate all that already. Now I'm working on this one. And then over there, there's another row with a bunch of radishes in. I can't remember what this is. Is this bok choy that I planted by seed, but it's going to blossom? I'm going to pull those out and I'll eat as much as I can today and tomorrow, and then the rest of it I'll chop up and dehydrate and put them in the freezer. Lettuces really need some thinning out too. Here's a rogue black walnut seedling. There's also black viper root planted in here, and some onions. These are red onions I planted from seed. This is black viper root right here. This is a black viper root planted with a white salsify right there. Mixed planting. If one thing fails, something will take its place. If nothing fails, then I have to eat more. These pots, I got cucumbers in them. Let them grow up this fence right here. And there's some peas planted in there. This one I only planted one thing, and I think this is a pepper. I planted pepper seeds in the house to start them, and they never appeared. And then I noticed this as I was digging out the tomato plants. I think that's a pepper. Next year I'm gonna have to get a heated mat so I can sprout the seeds. Potatoes growing on the ends. This is I did a little skit on this little round. Ooh, we got another ant hole there. I got a stick that I push into the ant holes. Let me go get that right away. That keeps the ants from proliferating. You got to get down and get the queen. If you get the queen, they go away. So if you start when they're early like this, generally you can get the queen right away. There. So I did a skit on this little circle of potatoes. These were the ones that were real long eyes on them. I think they're like foot long eyes. I thought, well, you know, they're probably going to grow because they look green at the top. And all 5 of them are growing. Again, this is the row I've been picking radishes out of. I see there's a couple left yet. I didn't pick this one right here. Ooh, something's wrong with it. That's why. It wasn't growing for some reason. Some bug must have infected it. So this one here needs to be picked. More cilantro in here, and I planted more radish seeds, so we'll see what happens. Peas are blossoming. Look at. Happiness is fresh peas. I planted these as early as I possibly could, and then covered them with a blanket to get them this far. They're only supposed to grow 8 inches tall, but I guess they like the soil too much. They're 18 inches tall. This is my winter rye. I've been dealing with this for, I don't know, 5 years or something. Got tomatoes. Got one in there, one here, one here, one here, and 2 on that end of the row. I'm going to get a trellis and let them trellis up this area here. Peppers in there. There's a gooseberry I'm nursing. White salsify about to blossom. These are dill. I didn't plant them. They came with the soil. Okra, a couple okra I planted in here. Here's trellises for cucumbers. That trellis there, I have peas planted. 5 peas came out of a pod that had 10 peas. Those peas are 3-foot growers. So here you can see the radishes. These are the same radishes I planted over in the other area, and you can see that they're going to seed right there. So I'll pull those out today and I'll cut those up with the rest of the stuff that's overgrowing my place. Get it ready for the freezer. So these 3 end caps, they have the potatoes and also planted ground cherries, and boy, I bought 6 of them and planted those in the back, kind of in a shady area, and they just all wilted off and died. These here don't look that great, but there's some green. I think they're gonna make it. I sure would miss the summer without having to eat some ground cherries when I walked around. This is a bed of French red French shallots. Let me say that again. French red shallots. Got a few peas in here mixed with it. This is a radish. Is that one going to seed? Yeah, it is right there. That radish can come out of there. How about this one? Yep, that's going to seed too. I tell you, there's something different with the sun. 3-4 years ago, I was picking radishes well into June. I got some video of picking monsters into June. Can't do it anymore. This is going to be where I plant the 3-foot carrots, but I haven't got that far yet. I'm letting the weeds all come up. I'll pull the weeds out when I plant the carrots. This is a little lineup of Cossack kohlrabis, and look at that. Look at that. Soon I'm going to have one. They're growing faster than the little ones. But I planted them dense here because I'm going to pick them when they're very young. This is a Brussels sprout that's in the end. But that one there might be the first one I pick. And in the end I'll have 3 or 4 of them left here. 3 of them. That looks like an area for 3. Because I have some back over here too that aren't densely planted. So out of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them here, I'll have 9 of them. Probably within the next, probably before the end of June. This is the first week of June, just completed. These are red cabbages. You can see no slug damage so far. As soon as I begin to notice the slugs, I'm going to cover this with sheep's wool. Weed it in sheep's wool, and sheep's wool is supposed to have some sharp edges to it that the slugs don't like. Now here's my bed of black carrots with a mixed planting. Black carrots, and look at that. You can see they're really dark stems. I'll be weeding this when they get a little bit bigger. I'll be thinning them out. Eating the greens. Here we have, I think these are turnips. Lineup of peas. You can see there the blossoms. These are the same peas that are only supposed to grow 8 inches, so this bed didn't have all my amendments to it. It was just part of the soil here. Elephant garlic, wonderful. That's transplanted from camp. Overwintered at camp where it's colder. The lettuce, that needs to be weeded again. There was a little missing area here of carrots. I don't know why. And then these are here leeks, monster leeks. I'm going to be digging some of those out, thinning them out, and I'm going to transplant those around. I did put some little radishes in here too by the carrots. Fill in the spot. I planted a specialty beet, and I must have weeded them out because I have these on the end cap. I must have pulled them out when I did the first weeding. And here's the last row. 13 beds. On the very end here, I'm nursing a bush cherry, a cornelian cherry, and a peach. And I've been planting seeds here as I eat cornelian cherries. Oh, there's a piece of glass. As I've been eating cornelian cherries, I've been planting the seeds in here, see if any of them come up after being in the freezer. I'm hoping that these are rutabagas. They look like radishes to me. I planted rutabaga seed too early in the spring, and I'm not noticing where any of them come up where I planted them. And I'm believing I planted some here. So either these are radishes and the rutabagas didn't come up here either, or maybe some of these are. I don't know. I don't think so though. I got some black carrots in here, more leeks, and I came in with a sowing of turnips. I planted beans on the other side, and I don't see any beans coming up here on the lower end, but up on top of the bed, on closest to the house side of the bed, is I seen. Oh, and that one's gone too. Oh, look at that. I bet you mice are eating them. Mouse traps are coming out. Here's one. Here's one that might make it. Oh, there's two of them there. Okay, well, now we know we got mouse problems. Not for long. My kitties aren't doing the job. And surrounding the kitchen garden here on the lower half, I have raspberries. This is some sort of a tree that was here, and I transplanted here to the corner. And we have the grapes. You can see they're starting to form grapes. Edelweiss. And that's it. That is the tour. Tell me what you think.